Hey everyone, it's Jessica Frazier here again with the Wellness Wednesday tips. And today I thought we'd talk about sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene is simply the habits that we use to fall asleep. If you are getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night, if you are going to bed at the same time every night and waking up about the same time every day, and you are not waking up in the middle of the night, then you already have really good sleep hygiene. If this does not sound like you, hopefully this video will help get you there. So the first thing you need to know about sleep is the process starts when we wake up. The first thing you should do when you wake up is look at the sun. As soon as our eyes see sunshine, our body starts producing melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone our body uses to help relax so it's easier to fall asleep. So once our eyes see the sun, our body produces melatonin, and it'll produce it all day long until the sun goes down. After the sun goes down, then our body naturally starts to release melatonin, so our body relaxes and gets ready for bedtime. Now, one of the problems with our bodies releasing or not releasing melatonin has to do with electronics. Lots of times melatonin doesn't start to get released until they lay down in bed because they've been on electronics, and the blue light from our phones or the tablets or computers or TV screens tricks our brain into thinking it's sunlight and will keep producing melatonin instead of releasing it. So it's really best to turn off anything with a blue light at least 2 hours before bed. That sounds intimidating for some, so start with an hour before bed. But you want to make sure that your brain is not still producing melatonin because you want it to be able to release the melatonin. So that's the first step. Next, if you're not exercising for 30 minutes a day and not hardcore exercise, just walking, doing yoga, getting out for a little jog, that would be a huge next step to try to help your body regulate. Also, caffeine and alcohol and drugs all play an effect on our sleep. Sometimes people will say a beer helps them go to sleep, but really it helps you pass out sometimes, but does not help you get restorative sleep. And we want restorative sleep so we can learn and grow and do better. Our brains only grow when we sleep. Our brains also only transfer short-term memory to long-term memory while we're sleeping. So if you've been learning all day long, if you've been doing online classes or working or whatever you've been doing, you are only going to retain that information if you get good restorative sleep, because that's the only time it happens. So you want to be sure that you're getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep so you can have a couple of dream cycles so your brain has time to process all of the newly learned information to your long-term memory. Caffeine, I mentioned, stays in our body for 8 hours. So even though we tend to only feel the effect for 1 to 2 hours, it stays in our body for 8 hours and affects our ability to fall asleep. So if you are a coffee drinker or a tea drinker or a soda drinker, keep that in mind. When are you going to go to bed? And when's the last time you should have some of that caffeine? These are all some tips to help you get a better restful night's sleep. Oh, also keep in mind what you use your bed for. We want our brain to associate our bed with sleep. And so that means we shouldn't be doing homework. We shouldn't be reading books. We shouldn't be playing games in the bed. Anything that is not sleep related and restorative, we shouldn't be doing. So just keep that in mind too. If you're using your bed for homework, or if you're using your bed to watch Netflix, move to a chair or move out of the bedroom so that when you see your bed, when you get in your bed, you associate it with sleep, and that makes it just that much easier to fall asleep every night. I hope these tips help, and I'll see you next week for another Wellness Wednesday video. Thanks, guys.